This car went everywhere with me. And I finally feel it again, and just like I never left it.
Brian, we've gotten a chance to see your car before, but this car is something really unique to you. Tell me a little bit about what is this car, and tell me a little bit about its history.
Well, its history is my father bought it with my money when I was 16 years old. I was at football practice on a Thursday night because we have a Friday night game, and I went to football practice and I came home, and apparently during that time him and his friend went up to Reading and bought this car with my money, and I wasn't very happy when I came home. It was pretty beat up. It looked like Cujo went wild in the interior, and I was just like, oh my God, you took my money. I was expecting, I guess when you're 16, you expect like it already to be nice and everything perfect, and this was far from it. And he handed me the keys and he said, just drive it. So I took it down the road, me and my friend got in it, took it down the road, and it ran pretty good. So that was somewhat of a light at the end of the tunnel kind of moment. But my father's famous words were, "We can fix it." And that's how I basically learned how to rebuild an engine, how to do everything. That entire car has been apart numerous times until I figured it out and got it right. I would do it, and then it wouldn't quite be, it was okay, it would work. Maybe it was like farmer fixes. End of the story, basically I needed to get this car 100% ready. That's why we took it to you guys.
So you got this thing restored, but I mean, it's survived. It's gotten a long way from where it was to where it is now. Tell me a little bit about, you've had this car since you were 16?
Yep, 1985.
And has it always been this color?
The original color was green, but it was always red when I owned it. In fact, it was the red on that hood back there, because that was the original hood.
These cars meant freedom for you, and they were part of your identity when you were in high school. What did it mean when you drove up in something that looked like a dog shredded it?
We worked pretty fast to make it look a little bit better. car seat covers and whatnot. But the dash had like the Grand Canyon going down through the center and everything, and it was falling apart and everything. But we made the best of it. When you're 16. It's still a car. It's still freedom. I don't have to borrow their car to go anywhere.
Now, you had told me that you spent many a day filling this thing up at your parents' gas pump here at the farm.
I fill it up every day. I would run it completely empty every day. So every morning before school, a lot of mornings I would even wash it before school. I would wash it and then fill it up with gas, go to school. Well, I had to pick up, I think I picked up 5 other people, a taxi service on the way to school, because you didn't want to ride the bus. It wasn't cool to ride the bus. So I did my taxi service and went to school and came home, and then I would just run. We would run all night long. My father always told me, though, if you ever run out of gas, don't call me, because there's no reason for it. And one time I did. I ran out of gas right up about 500 feet down the road here. I thought I could make it home. So I kind of got out of the car, ran down to the barn, got a gas can, filled it up, ran it over hoping nobody would see me, filled it up, started it up, brought it in like nothing ever happened, but they knew. Cars were an identity, they were freedom, they were you. They were the reflection of you. Although this car kind of was the rock star and I was the equipment manager, I guess you'd say. This car helped me out a lot. Everybody wanted to ride in it. Everybody was your friend. Everybody, it was, I don't know, it was just iconic car era that we don't have nowadays. 1974 Pontiac Formula 400. The motor has been changed. It's no longer a 400, it's a 467 stroker, 512 horse, 485 foot-pounds of torque, which didn't exist in 1974. And I'm glad it didn't, because when I was 16, that would have been, this car wouldn't be here right now if I was 16 and had that, because we used it all. There was no half throttle anywhere. It was to the floor and you went. That's how you drove back then. It was fun, but I'm glad I kept it. This car has been the longest lasting relationship I've ever had in my life.
And why? I mean, what happened to it? I know that it spent some time in a barn, but why do you still have your first car?
I listened to my father and all his friends and numerous other people say, I wish I had my first car. I just wish I had my first car. Can you imagine what that thing would be worth right now? You imagine, being able to drive around and feel, it brings you memories. It brings back all the memories that you had. I was determined that I was going to keep my first car no matter what. As long as you have a car worth keeping. If I would have had a Ford Pinto, probably not. You probably wouldn't have got that one up there at your shop to restore. But no, if you have something that was worthwhile, that meant something to you, I don't want to buy it twice. So let's buy it once and hang on to it.
How many years did it spend in a barn?
I think approximately 20 to 22 years.
And then what happened?
And then we pulled it out and took it up to your shop. It had 20 years worth of dust on it.
So after 20 years, you pull it out, you take it in for a full restoration, and what did that entail?
Pretty much everything. When you peel back the onion, you find an awful lot of stuff that you didn't know was really there. Car was in decent shape, I think, for its age and for what it's been through. But if you want it right, you might as well go the whole way, because you will be redoing it again at some point. Wanted about as bright a red as I could get without being orange, but I wanted some kind of wow factor to it. The red pigment is a pretty powerful pigment that washes out all the metallics or anything like that. So we had to play around with gold pearl, and we went with 2 to 1, 3 to 1, played around with a lot of different mixtures of the gold pearl to come through, and I think we hit it.
What is some advice that you might have for somebody that's undertaking a major restoration or saving something like this? What would you tell somebody?
It's going to be expensive, and it's going to take some time. Hopefully in the near future, supply chain issues aren't as much of an issue as what I had, because that was 2 years and 9 months. A lot of parts were not available due to COVID and whatnot, and even now to this day, some parts take time. They're just not caught up yet. I think back in the COVID days though, everybody had time and they had money. So everybody wanted to fix their car up. So they were buying everything. So now the repercussions it's coming back, they haven't caught up.
Do you think it's worth it though, putting all that time, all that money?
Oh my, yes. There is no doubt in my mind that it was well worth it. I see a lot of people do the restorations and stuff themselves, and that could take upwards of 20, 30 years, and it's still never be done. I don't want to be 70, 80 years old when I actually get to enjoy this car. I want to enjoy it now and just be done with it. Not have, oh, well, we can do this now, and maybe down the road we'll do that and this. It's just a project that's never done. I'd like to just have it done and enjoy it.
Yeah, cry once, buy once.
I mean, lick your wounds and move on. I mean, it's pretty much the name of the game. Not everybody is able to do that. I mean, an awful lot of people just don't have that kind of time or money to put into something. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, and I'm very pleased at the results.
These Formula 400s, you don't see a whole lot of them out there. Why is that?
We wrecked them. We wrecked them all, I think. No, back in the day, my circle of junkyards got bigger and bigger every year, searching for parts that we used to just, it was a fun day. Saturday afternoon, load up the toolbox, go to the junkyard, see what's out there. Ooh, this is cool. We could use this, we could use that. It was fun. Now it doesn't work that way. We have scavenged everything out of them and they've all become, I don't know, tin cans by now.
What's your hope for the future of this car? What are your plans for it?
As long as I'm alive, it's staying right here. Once I pass away, it's on the wife then. She can sell it, she can enjoy it, she can do whatever she wants to it, but as long as I'm above ground, this car is staying right here in this location.